Good morning, everyone. It's Lee Henson, President and Founder of AgileDad, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Stand-Up. So without any further ado, let's get started. Today, I wanted to talk to you about a topic that was brought up in my Scrum Master class this week. A student asked me, they said, we are trying to introduce Agile into our organization, which is a good thing. And they asked about differing organizations having different thresholds for how much Agile they can consume in any one given time. And I guess I never thought of it this way. So I wanted to put together something. I wanted to frame up my thoughts and put together something that equaled what they were asking. And what it all boiled down to was the question, do organizations have an Agile tolerance threshold? Now, this might sound like a foreign concept because it was foreign to me. It was something that I didn't even think of. And I get it. It's one of these things where if an organization has been beat to death by a large consulting group, where they've just been told, you will Agile, you will Scrum, you will meet, you will do this, and their meetings aren't providing value, and things aren't going their way, and they're running into constant impediments. And the impediment to agility is the way they're implementing their agility. And I've seen it, right? It's just facepalm, right? What do you do? But it's one of those things where you still have to address it and you have to figure it out. So indeed, in my humble opinion, organizations do have such a thing as an Agile tolerance threshold. Now, that requires us to ask the next question: how do we determine what the threshold is? And how do we know when we're pushing too hard or when we're not? And one of the key recipes, one of the key ingredients, I should say, to the recipe, is that we need to understand how to approach the organization where they are today. And I think that this is something that a lot of people struggle with. We all want to come into the organization and either start at ground zero. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a chance at life to make it easier. Oh, sorry. No, that was a terrible interlude. Or we want to approach them in such a way that we want to come in with our expert advice, even though they're not ready for that expert advice. So we're either teaching them how to spell Agile or we're giving them expert advice. We're not looking at where they currently are. So I guess the question is, when do we decide, or how we decide where we're going to come in and how we're going to do it? One of the things that's been wildly popular lately, I was on a recent call with all the trainers and coaches from the Scrum Alliance. And one of the things that's wildly popular lately is the concept of an assessment call, where you can do a quick assessment call to measure where you are and to make a recommendation. Now, what's neat about this is it puts the ball in the coach's court, where the coach can say, okay, let me learn about what you're doing and provide what I feel a good solution would be. Where in the past, I had many people who came to me and said, I need a Scrum certification class, or I need an Agile Foundations class. And then when I show up with that material, they're like, well, that's not really what we need. We need something different, right? And part of it could be on me for not doing the right amount of vetting, I suppose. But what I learned was that it didn't matter how much vetting I did, because oftentimes the person that I was vetting or interviewing wasn't the person who requested the training. So the needs were still there that needed to be addressed. So I guess I will lead in with the top 3 things you can do to understand the Agile tolerance threshold. So item number 1 is to meet the organization where it is. So you want to make sure you meet people where they are, you meet the company where they are, so that way you can understand what their pains are, what their gains are, where they're going, where they've been, and what their end goal is, right? Number 2, you've heard me say it a million times, is that in order to understand their threshold, you have to apply grow. You have to ask them, what are their goals? Why are they trying to implement Agile? Do they even understand it, right? What are your goals? What's your reality? Where are you now, and how far away are you from that goal? I had an organization tell me we want to have Agile implemented by January 2022. I'm like, well, that doesn't allow a lot of time. We're already in October of 21. But, how are we going to do that? Where are we now? And I'm like, well, we sent 2 people to our first certified Scrum Master class, and we've never held a sprint before. I'm like, that's both good and bad. It's good because you're not unlearning bad things, but it's bad because you're trying to rush through this and get things done. So you need to have grow and understand the goals, the reality, what opportunities or options do we have, and then what will work best for that organization. And I think that leads me into 3. 3 is that once we know where they are and once we apply grow, then we need to pick the pieces of the puzzle that are going to give them the greatest impact first. In disciplined Agile delivery, they call this choose your wow, choose your way of working, right? But outside of disciplined Agile delivery, it's important for us just as good Agilists to figure out what's going to work best for teams within that organization. Are they under heavy regulation or compliance? Do they have certain needs that we don't understand? Are there security clearances involved? I mean, I could go on for days. If it's not technology, what types of products or services are they building? How fast are they getting to their clients? What is their throughput? What is their variance? What is the cost per item? What's their social media presence? Are they receiving valuable feedback from social media? Do they have a feedback loop in place? All of these things are important in doing this assessment for what their agile tolerance might be. One of the things that I can give you as a piece of advice or a key takeaway is to create a quick one-page sheet, or like a worksheet, almost like a team working agreement, where you can put together, and many people would call this a canvas, like a business canvas or a lean canvas. I don't know that you have to go into that much detail, but I think that what you have to do is you have to have some key metrics that you're trying to figure out regarding what pertains to the Agile threshold within that company. So with each new company you encounter, you want to ask what are the reasons they're doing Agile, and what is their threshold for accepting it? And, you have to live with the fact that there are some organizations who are going to be Wagile or Fragile or Scrum or Fall or Water Scrum. I've heard it called everything, right? Don't go chasing waterfall. Please stick to the Agile and the Scrum that you used to. Sorry. I think it's just important for us to, that moment was brought to you by TLC. Now, I think it's just important for us to understand that threshold and to be able to ask the right questions. And I think this boils down to communication. So it's important for us to communicate. It's important for us to figure things out. It's important for us to create a feedback loop internally so that we can truly understand what the business's strategic needs are, so that we can understand the benefits to the organization, the benefits to the customer, and the benefits to our team, so that we know internally that this is the right thing to do. So don't try to do Agile all or nothing. Don't try to do Agile in spandex. Not everyone looks good in spandex, and it's not a one-size-fits-all model. There's no silver bullet solution. Check your Agile tolerance threshold and get that figured out. Glad I could be with you today. As always, we encourage you to visit agiledad.com if you need to learn more about this topic or other topics. And if you have something you want to talk about on a daily stand-up, reach out to us at learnmore@agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.